Hello, welcome to a little tutorial on the grade 1 B1 piece. I believe it's pronounced Vegan Leader, and or some people just call it Lullaby. And we're just going to break it down bar by bar. I've got the score here as well, so I'm going to try and point to what we're covering to begin with. So to begin with, I just wanted to get these first three notes, these two E's and these two G's, and then we'll build from that. So, simple enough, but what's really important is to get the right fingering. So, what you want to get is use 1 and then 3. So just work through that until that's, you're just like, yeah, okay, 1 and 3, easy. And then you're going to bring in your left hand and see the two notes that you're playing there in this first bar and a half bar at the beginning, or the third to be exact. And here we are playing a C and a G. But it's very simple. It does that 3 times in a row. And the next part is 3 C and G, and then the next part is C and G. But it's where it comes in with the right hand, which is the tricky part, which is what I'm going to help you with. So that's what happens. That's where that C comes in after the G in the right hand. So once you're comfortable with that, then let's move on to the next bit. What happens after that? Well, something a little bit more technical happens here. What we get, let's isolate this bit on its own. So it's an E, the second E, which matches up with the G. Like that. So just practice that till that's comfortable. Obviously you want to pause this video bits. Don't just watch this video on one. Pause it, work through it, and then move on to the next bit. So this is your next bit. Okay, so once you're comfortable with that, we're going to put those bits together. It's going to work like this. Yeah? Okay, and then we're just going to add on one more note at the end of that, which is this G. Just there, if you can see my finger point clumsily towards it. And that we're adding on that G in the right hand. But what's important about that G is that we use this finger to play that G rather than this finger. So now we're using index finger number 2. Alright. Just add on that on the end. One more time. Notice how you got to hold that last E just before that G a little longer. Dun, like that. Okay. Again, work through that, pause the video, work through that until that's comfortable, and be ready to move on to the next bar. So now, what we're doing is the remaining notes in this bar. So, left hand's got a simple job. C and G again. On that G, we're going to play another E and a G like that. Sorry for all this shaking. I don't know why it's shaking so much. So I can stop that. So, starting from the first G that we see in that bar, in the second bar, it's going to be, you see that? Then the C, and then together, just like that. Okay, so work through that, pause, and let's move on to the next bit. Okay, was that okay? So now we're going to put everything that we have so far together. So all the way, if I can zoom in, no I can't, all the way from the beginning to the end of the second bar here. going to work like this. Okay, so just pause that, work through that, and get comfortable, because we're moving on to bar 3 in the next bit. Welcome to bar 3. Here we are. So what we're going to start off with is the right hand, and we're going to be using these 3 fingers, 5, 4, and 3. Different to violin, which would be called 4, 3, and 2. This is 5, 4, and 3. And I'm going to be using them to play these 3 notes. Okay, but notice how I hold onto that B for a little longer, and because I've held onto it for a little longer, we've had to rush the A in at the last minute. Rather than it being like that, 1, 2, 3, it's 1, 2, 3, and. So it's like the A has had to come in just at the last minute. So just practice that until it's comfortable. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and so on. Now left hand, again, same 2 notes, C and G. But where does it come in? That's where that C comes in with the B. So work through that until that's comfortable. See that? What happens next? Well, this is where the G comes in on the 3rd beat. So this is what you should have so far. 1, 2, 3. You see? 1, 2, 3. And then we're just going to add in that last minute A. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and. Okay? So pause, work through that, and then we will be moving on to the next bit. So, welcome to the next part. So now what we're doing is we're putting bars 1, 2, and 3 together. Let's have a look. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to play that one more time, extra slow, so it can help you a little bit more. Slower. Okay, I hope that's all okay. And now we're on bar 4. And that is this bit here. Okay, so when you're doing this bit, again, we're going to start with the right hand. So but notice how I've got my 5th finger here, then my 4th finger on this G, then my thumb on the D, and then my index finger on the E. But my hand was up here a minute ago, so I've had to do a sneaky little thing here. On that double A, which is at the end of bar 3, and then the 2nd A is at the beginning of bar 4. You can see it, what I mean, just there. And so this is what we have to do. On that double A, you have to change fingers like that. So just practice that. It's a little tricky. You don't need to go that fast, but work to that speed. So start off nice and slow, controlled, relaxed, until you feel, okay, I got the hang of this, I can go a little further with it, and so on. Okay. And when you're comfortable with that, again, pause. We're going to do a little bit more. Okay, so now we're on to the next part. So from there, you're just going to be playing that A from the previous bar, and then going on to play the remaining 4 notes, which, if you remember, was a 4 on G, and then these 2 fingers playing the D and the E. Simple enough. Then we just have to bring in the left hand. So notice how we've changed the C for a B. That's all we do. But where does it come in? Well, if we look on the score, we can see that that B lines up with that G. And then this low G in the left hand lines up with the D. So when we put it into practice, that's how it works. So just try that to begin with. Pause and work through that. And now we're doing the next bit. Okay, so simple task for this next bit. We just have to add on an A at the beginning like this. And then put in the left hand like we did before. So work through that till that's comfortable. Pause and wait till you're ready for the next part. Okay, here comes the next part. So this is just putting everything from the first 4 bars together. So let's work through that. Okay, and then one more time, but slow this time. Oh, sorry for that. I was watching the camera, not the keys. Okay, so I hope that helps. And now what we're going to do is the remaining 3 bars. So that'll be 5, 6, and 7, and then just a little bit of bar 8 because it doesn't sound right if we don't play bar 8 at the end. So now on to bar 5. So you can see from the score it's just F, D, D, E. So let's just loop that with the right hand till that's comfortable. So notice how when I get back to the F, that's when it all starts over again. Run through that until that's comfortable, pause, and now we're bringing in the left hand. Okay, so if that was okay, now you can bring the left hand. And again, it's a B and a G. Where does it come in? Well, first, I want you to have a look and see if you can tell me the answer to that. Pause it and see if you can tell me. Alright, so hopefully you got this. Yeah, and then, so again, now we're just going to loop that. Is that comfortable? If so, then good. If not, just pause and work through it. And we're going to work through the next bit. Here's the next bit. I think you can guess what we're doing now. We're going to go from the beginning to the end of bar 5. Here it is, nice and slow. Let's stop there. Do not go further. Good. Alright, pause, work through that, and wait till it gets take as long as you need with it, you know. Do not try and rush it. Okay, so if that's all okay, now we're ready to have a little look at bar 6. Bar 6 is quite simple. The thing to watch out for is that F that you hold for the first 2 beats, you play with a different finger the second time. So 3 and then 2. That is really important to get that right. Why? Because in the bar after that, you'll be going way up to that B, and you'll find that it's a lot more comfortable to go from that F to that B with 2 to 5 rather than 3 to 5. That's a bit of a stretch, it's a bit uncomfortable, but that should fit your hand shape a lot more comfortably. So 1, change to 2, 1, 2, 3, and. So just try that again. 1, 2, 3, and. Pause it, give it some time, and now let's bring in the left hand. B and G again. So you see how the B came in on beat 2. 1, 2, 3, and. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so just pause that, work through that, and now we're just going to do everything we've got so far. Here it is. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Ignore that. Okay, I hope that's all good, and then just work through that until that's okay, and hopefully you'll play it better than I did just back there. Okay, so now we're on to bar 7. So I give some slightly different fingering instructions to ABRSM, but I think it's worth trying mine out if you prefer. So this is what you're doing. You're going to be using these, these 2 fingers to begin with. So you've just gone up to the B, then you're going down to that A. Now here's the important bit. You want to use thumb to go to that G. Why? Because then you've got these fingers spare to go up to the top like that. You see? Nice and simple. Thumb. So this is what I want you to do. It's going to feel a little bit cramped, but you get used to it. And you think, what you mustn't do is just have it all cramped like this. Only bringing the thumb in when it's time. You see? And then because I only brought my thumb in when it's time, the other fingers could move out of the way. Yeah? And then we just play another B at the end with finger 4. So just loop that till that's comfortable. And then we bring in the left hand. Again, it's a B and a G. Where does it come in? Pause it, have a look, try and figure that out for yourself first. Okay, so hopefully you would have got something like this. Yeah. So just loop that, work through that till that's comfortable. And then all we have to do to finish off, we're just going to do a little bit of bar 8. Let me show you. Just that note there. Reason being, because it sounds nice to finish that phrase there. And then that's that. then we've done almost half of the piece. Let's have a look at everything so far. Stop there. I'll do that one more time, nice and slow. Let's give it a go. Okay, so good luck with that. I hope this helps you, and take your time. Take as long as you need to with this. If you do some of the bits at the end and then you find you've forgotten the bits at the beginning, then it's fine to just go back to the beginning of this video and run through that. The more times you run through this video and just work through it like that, the better, to be honest. So absolutely no problem in going over old bits and trying them again if you forget. And good luck.